Was it different when you were both kids? And so, like most twins, you may have had a special language, a kind of way of communicating that the adults couldn't understand?
Like our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it was very different. When we were kids, in some ways we connected so much. I don't want to say better than we do now, but you know, it was more emotional, I think, our relationship. And we just smiled and laughed and played. And I think that what caused our relationship to necessarily change is the impact that society has on those with autism as we were growing up and stuff. And yeah, I think that, yeah.
As you got older, you went a year ahead in school, and you were always kind of looking over your shoulder. There's a scene where he's in a new class, and these guys are making friends with him and telling him, please bring $50 for pizza.
Yeah.
And you all know that pizza doesn't cost $50, that they're just taking sheer advantage of him. But you want to protect him, but at the same time, you know he's going to resent being protected.
Exactly.
That's a classic example of how both of you try to figure out how to let him be his own person, but not hurt himself. How do you negotiate those?
Oh, it's so difficult because RJ just wants to have friends. Kids with autism really need friends, and it's hard for them to make those relationships. So when kids roll up and say, "Hey, RJ, can you give me $50 for pizza?" You clearly get a kid that is dying to have a relationship, so he will bring that money to school in order to make these connections. As his twin sister, Ryan, being at school with him, wants to protect him, but she also wants to give him the ability and the freedom to learn in these situations. But she doesn't want him to be taken advantage of.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult line to cross.
And then he also kind of got resentful towards me when I tried to go in and be like, hey, you can't do that. Like, these people aren't your friends. And it's like, go away, Ryan. You don't know anything. Like, these are the people for me. Like, it's very hard to, like, I don't know, it's just very hard to police him and to steer him in the right direction.
Ryan has always been her brother's keeper. I mean, you had to go through Ryan to get to RJ. And when he tried to express his independence as a young man with autism in a junior high school or middle school, as we call it these days, she really had to keep her distance. And it built a little bit of resentment, and it made him push back on her.